I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. RFG is back. And I'm back to destroy more paradigms. I'm back to destroy more paradigms, ladies and gentlemen. Alright. I took a little break, gathered some information, went over a few incidents that went on a few weeks ago. And, I'm ready to put a complete hole in the entire Hebrew Christian doctrine. It is done after today. Alright? It's done. So I gotta, play the music to get the mood right. Because it's over. It's completely over for all Christians, all Hebrews, all Jews, even Muslims. Okay? You're all worshiping Saturn, the moon, and Venus. Alright? It's a wrap. It's done. It's done. Okay? You think your paradigms have been shattered before. I'm telling you, this video is about to change lives. So just pay attention. Listen very carefully to what's stated. Alright? Now, we're going to break down what took place, alright, with Ryan Twyman. This was on June 6th. Okay, LA Sheriff's Department came into a parking lot, and they basically already had their guns drawn on so-called black man Ryan Twyman. One officer on one side had a gun drawn. The other officer, okay, had a gun drawn on the other side, and they bum rushed his car, and he basically, like, you see this officer right here, he shot into the car, okay, and when he got into the car, Ryan Twyman's natural reaction was to move backwards, was to cause the car to move backwards as a basically as a last resort to stay alive. All right. Now, they shot this man, okay, 37 times. All right. And guess what? There was no weapons whatsoever. No weapons whatsoever in his vehicle. That means no bombs, no knives, no guns, no ammunition. No drugs were found. All right? So, let's just watch this video and see what they have.
This morning, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department put out this video which shows a controversial deputy-involved shooting that happened here on June 6th, and an unarmed man was killed in that shooting. Let me show you the video now. You're going to see two armed sheriff's deputies with their weapons drawn approaching a car. Okay. One of them opens the back door of the car. The driver puts it in reverse with that door open. Now you gotta see this, right? And then the deputies open fire.
Now this is the argument. This is the argument for all the racist folk out there. They're trying to say that Ryan Twyman was trying to run them over. Okay, so let's replay this.
Back door of the car. The driver puts it in
now
reverse
how
with that door open.
Now how in the fuck is he trying to run you over when he's backing up? Now you see the gun has shot, okay? The gun has been fired as he's backing up. So he's trying to run both of you over, but he's driving backwards. Okay? Let's look at this.
The driver puts
he's
it
still
in
going
reverse
backwards,
with that door open,
and they're still shooting, and he's still going backwards, and they're still shooting.
More than 30 rounds, killing the driver. Now, exactly what happened? Well, here's the background. Deputies say they were trying to arrest a man.
And look at the video. Look, he went out to get an assault rifle. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. He went out to get an assault rifle. You see that? He has a fucking assault rifle.
Background. Deputies say they were trying.
So after they shot him 37 times, okay, he went back to the trunk to get a fucking AR-15. All right. So so-called black woman and child in America. All right. We are Atlanteans. We are, okay, the original humans on the earth. That's why the Washita are recognized by the UN as the oldest people on the earth. And I just want to say we are at war. All right? We are at war. We are at war. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen. And this video proves it because nothing has happened to these two officers. And this shit is on video.
One of them opens the back door of the car. The driver puts it in reverse with that door open, and then the deputies opened fire. They actually fired more than 30 rounds, killing the driver. Now, exactly what happened? Well, here's the background. Deputies say they were trying.
Now, I'm just gonna put it to you like this, plain and simple. All right, I'm gonna put it to you like this, plain and simple. I'm not even gonna make anything complicated, okay? Because this is going to be a paradigm-shattering video. Because I'm getting ready to destroy, you know what I'm saying, the whole Christian, Hebrew, that shit is done. And I'll just put it to you like this. The more you keep worshiping the Caucasoid's God, the more you keep worshiping the Caucasoid's God, the more this is going to happen. All the melanated people, okay? Of the Americas, the more you worship the Caucasoid's God, the more this is going to happen. The more this is going to keep happening.
With their weapons drawn, approaching a car. One of them opens the back door of the car. The driver puts it in reverse with that door open, and then the deputies open fire. They actually fire.
Now, like I said, the more you worship the Caucasoid's God, the more power the Caucasoid has over you. Alright? Okay? We're going to be learning some deep history and some deep alchemy today. Okay? Because these Caucasoids actually have a god. Alright? These Caucasoids have a real god. Okay? You were created to be the biological opposite. Let me repeat. You were created as the melanated man in America. You were created to be the biological opposite of this Caucasoid. You are biological opposites. Okay? In nature. Okay? When the Moors took over Europe in 711 AD, that's when, you know, the Caucasoid actually became civilized. Alright? And it took for the marijuana plant in the 1960s for, you know, these beings to even promote peace and tranquility. That's the only time when they ever promoted peace and tranquility on the earth, is when the marijuana plant was introduced and when they started consuming it on a mass level in the 1960s. Okay, that's the only reason the hippie movement started. All right. So like I said, this right here will continue. Mark RFG's words. It will continue as long as you worship their gods. Because I'm going to prove to you that these Caucasoids have their own god. All right? Now you say, where do we get this word Hebrew? Where do we get this word Hebrew? Hebrew. All right? From Old French, Hebreu. Okay? Via Latin from Greek, Hebreos. Okay? Aramaic, Ibre. Based on the Hebrew, Ibri, understood to mean one of, from the other side of the river. Okay? One from the other side of the river. Now, what river is being referred to here? Ladies and gentlemen, this is how the Egyptians classified the Hebrews. Let me repeat. This is how the Egyptians classified the Hebrews. Those from the other side of the river. What river are they talking about? They're talking about the Nile River. Okay? They're talking about the Nile River. I'm telling you right now, they're talking about that Nile River. And when they talk about that Nile River, they're depicting the original Hebrews as outsiders, okay, that are separate from the land of Egypt. Okay? Now, you saw these names, these terms for Hebrew. Okay? These are the terms for Hebrew. Okay, but I'm going to show you the the original Egyptian term for these Hebrews. Oh, I'm going to show you. Okay, right here, folks. You see this term right here? Look at this term right here. This is called Habiru. Habiru. Okay? You have Hapiru, Habiru, and Apiru. Okay, so the word Hebrew, this is how the Egyptians called Hebrews. This is what the Egyptians called the Hebrews, all right? They called them Habiru. Now, why is that significant? When we look at who the Habiru people were in ancient Kemet, ladies and gentlemen, the Habiru were none other than the created Tamahu race. Let me repeat. The original Hebrews, as depicted on hieroglyphic walls and as depicted on ancient papyrus, the original Habiru, which were the original Hebrews, were the created Caucasoid race. Okay? Here's your proof. Here's your proof right here. Okay? Here's your proof right here. This is public knowledge. Okay? This is public knowledge. You see right here, below them are the Hyksos. You see the Hyksos were mixed with Habiru and Nubian. So when you mix the Habiru with the Nubian, okay, you get the Hyksos. All right? So right here, you see these pale-skinned Caucasoids, okay, that came into existence from genetic splicing. Okay, these are what our Egyptian ancestors depicted as Habiru, and we get the word Hebrew. We get the word Hebrew from Habiru. Habiru. Okay, and these entities, these beings, they were pale-skinned, and they were the original Caucasoids. Okay, and they were, and ladies and gentlemen, this is on hieroglyphic wall. Look, 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 the facial patterns of the Khazarians. The facial patterns of the Khazarians right there. It's right there. It's right there on Kemetic walls, folks. So there's no denying this. There's no fucking denying this. Okay? Right here. Habiru. The original Hebrews are the Habirus. Okay? Right here. Akhenaten. Look at Akhenaten's facial pattern. Look at Akhenaten's facial pattern. Yep, he has a piece of the same thing. He has a piece of the Khazarian bloodline. All right? That same spliced bloodline. He has it as well. And you see, Akhenaten was a Hyksos. Akhenaten was a Hyksos, which means he had both bloodlines. He had both Habiru and both Nubian bloodlines. All right? And he chose to serve the god of his Habiru bloodline. That's what Akhenaten chose. Okay? Okay? And you know, right here, okay, this is Moses. Basically, you know, the Christian depiction of Akhenaten. Okay? Showing that Moses, aka Akhenaten, actually grew horns. Okay? Okay, because the god over monotheism is El, aka Yahweh, Yadaboth, El, Chronos, Saturn, Father Time. Okay? That is the God over the Hebrew Torah and over the Bible. You see? That is the God of monotheism. And if you think that these beings weren't genetically spliced, if you think that Akhenaten and Moses weren't genetically spliced and these horns are just pseudo bullshit, okay, I'm about to be showing and proving today.
Chinese doctors are baffled by a bizarre 5-inch growth on an elderly woman's head. They aren't the horns. George Wen developed a mole on uncanny resemblance to a unicorn's
Asia.
horn. It all started when the unicorn woman, Liang Ziyuzhen, developed a mole on her head about 7 or 8 years ago. My mother complained about this mole-like growth on her head that itched all the time.
Now, let me stop it right there. You see, that's them with their bullshit. Saying, oh, it's just a mole. It's just a mole-like structure. That's bullshit. You know why? I did the research. And these horns that are growing out of people in Asia and in Europe, these horns are made out of keratin. These horns are made out of keratin. And keratin is what all animal horns are made out of. And fingernails. They're made out of keratin. Okay? Go do the research. Okay? They gave this a scientific condition just to throw you off from the fact that somewhere down in this person's genetics, they were spliced with animal, goat, or horse, or unicorn DNA. Okay, more than likely goat, deer, or horse. Yeah, goat or deer.
Wang Xiaojun. We found ways to cure her itch using traditional Chinese medicine, and then let it be. However, matters continued to get out of hand when a tiny horn-like mass erupted from the mole 2 years ago. It remained small until February 2015 when Liang accidentally broke it. A new horn grew in its place and now measures a whopping 5 inches in length. 87-year-old Liang's photographs are now all over the internet, and doctors are clueless about what to do with her grotesque horn. Some have diagnosed it as a cornucutaneum, a keratinous skin tumor that looks like a horn. Surgery is the only option to have it removed.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. It's not a tumor. If it's made out of keratin, it's not a tumor.
Xiaojun is skeptical. A man from Xiaoyuan, southern China has grown a bizarre horn on his head measuring 3 inches, and it's still growing. Wang Yuanfan, 84, said the odd growth started 2 years ago as a small bump but continued to grow. He said, I tried picking at it and even filing it, but nothing changed. The horn just kept getting bigger. Yuanfan says it has now reached 3 inches and is showing no signs of stopping. He added, doctors say they don't know what caused it, but if they try to take it off it will just come back. I try to hide.
So that's proof without a doubt that it's not no mole bullshit that they're trying to sell. Okay? If you chop a mole off, if you take a mole off with laser surgery or precisely with a knife when a person's under anesthesia, okay, that mole is not going to grow back. The fucking mole's not going to grow back. The only way something like that will grow back is if it is placed and implanted in the genome, is if it is in your DNA genome, okay, to have this growing out of your head, because somewhere down the line your genetics were spliced with goat or deer DNA, flat out, okay?
Hide it beneath a hat, but if it gets much longer, it will be sticking out the top. A 101-year-old woman in China has surprised her relatives by growing a 6-centimeter long horn from her forehead, and it looks like another one may be sprouting on the other side of her head. Centenarian Zhang Rufang of Linlu village in China's Henan province first started developing the strange growth in 2009 when a patch of rough skin appeared on the left side of her forehead. Her youngest son, 60-year-old Zhang Qiucheng, said that when the growth first appeared they didn't pay too much attention to it. But as time went on, a horn grew out of her head. The condition has left her family worried, especially now that it seems that she is developing a second horn on the right side of her forehead to match the first.
Now this is where they do the bullshit. Okay, now here comes the mindfuck bullshit. Okay, you see that the masses are watching this video by the millions, hundreds of thousands and millions. All right, so to keep the attention off of the other races who are growing horns out of their head naturally, they throw in a so-called black man from America, okay, to make a fool out of himself, okay. But get this, these are not natural, okay. These were put in his head by surgery, by artificial surgery. These did not grow out of his head naturally like the other spliced races, okay. All right, so
goat horns implanted into his head so he can stand out and hopefully become more famous.
You see, they were implanted into his skull.
His real name is Kenardo Andre Robinson.
You see, you can't fool me with that mind-fuck.
Surgeon. I was sedated during the surgery, but had to be given lots of painkillers.
Yeah. Cut that coon shit out.
Who grew at 24.9 centimeters.
Now this is on record. A French lady growing a horn out of her head.
Also known as Widow Sunday, was a French woman living in Paris in the early 19th century who grew a 24.9 centimeters, 9.8 inches, horn from her forehead before it was successfully removed by a French surgeon. A wax model of her head is on display at the Mutter Museum in the College of Physicians of Philadelphia. One of the most spectacular cases of human cutaneous horns involves this 69-year-old woman, though details on her case are...
That's what this is called by the scientists and the geneticists, cutaneous horn. Cutaneous.
Sketchy. It is known that she tolerated the 17-centimeter long horn growing from the center of her forehead for approximately 20 years before having it surgically removed. Over a period of 2 decades, the horn grew asymmetrically, eventually coiling around in the fashion of a ram's horn. Once the 17-centimeter horn was removed, the woman only needed a bit of light makeup.
Goat horns and ram horns. That looks familiar. Oh, Moses depicted with goat horns and ram horns. But on the books, they'll tell you that Michelangelo misinterpreted lights for horns. Ah, what a joke. They say here's how you know they're lying about that. They say that the same word is used to depict horns and lights. Let me repeat. Their excuse for Michelangelo misinterpreting lights for horns is that they're saying the same Hebrew word that was used for lights is used for horns as well, which is a lie. That doesn't apply to the Greek language in either, so they're busted. They're busted. Moses is a pan-like deity, okay, because he serves Saturn, aka Father Time. Plain and simple. Okay, let's continue.
To appear normal. Doctors have treated a young boy with a large birthmark on his face by implanting horns in his forehead.
Oh, this is another one that was implanted with horns, so that doesn't count. But you see the only people, who aren't being born with these horns, who aren't being born with tails, who aren't being born, growing up wanting to walk on all fours. The only beings who aren't doing that are the most heavily melanated beings on the earth. And this is why the most heavily melanated beings on the earth are looked at with an envious eye. Okay? So-called black man in America, okay? Our lineage goes back to the Washitas. Okay? The Washitas, the originals. Okay? This is why this is happening. You see? Because your blood is the only blood that's pure. Your blood is the only blood that's pure and not spliced. Okay? All right? This is why this is happening. You see, Hebrew means the other side of the river, which means that the Okay, the cave people, the Tamahu, they were on the other side of the river, okay, when our Egyptian ancestors first saw them, okay? And they were pale. They were pale, okay? I'm telling you right now, it's right here. The original Hebrews were the Habiru. You get the word Hebrew from Habiru, okay? Okay? And Moses was of mixed lineage, Tamahu and Nubian, and he chose to serve the God of the Tamahu. You see, this God of this Bible, this God of this Torah, is the God over the Tamahu. Okay, the original Hebrews are Tamahus. Okay, this Bible right here is nothing but plagiarized Gnostic texts. Let me repeat. The Bible is nothing but plagiarized Gnostic texts and the plagiarized information from the Egyptian Book of the Dead and the Egyptian Book of Life. All right? And this Bible was revised 11 times, okay? The Bible was revised 11 times in the same language. Anything revised 11 times in the same language is not the direct word of a God. Is not the direct word of anybody. Okay, I don't give a fuck who it is. If it's revised 11 times in the same language, it's not the direct word of anything. Okay? So, I'm just, I just gotta, what I'm saying? Put that shit out there, man. You see, Gnostic versus Christianity. Gnosticism does not deal with sin, only ignorance. To achieve salvation, one needs knowledge. One needs gnosis, which is knowledge. You see? And if you do your research, the early Christians actually killed off the Gnostics because you see, the Pope did it. The Pope killed off the Gnostics because the Gnostics had the real wisdom, had the original scripts that were used to translate to the Bible, you see, that were used to create the Bible. The Gnostics had the original texts, okay? And the popes killed them off. The popes called the Gnostics heretics. They called them heretics and killed them off. See, because the Gnostics had the real wisdom, the same wisdom that our ancestors had in Kemet. Okay? So everything was flipped upside down on our psyche. Now look at this. You see the Hebrew Israelites say, oh, well, King James was a black man. King James was a black man. But guess what? Even if King James was a black man, that means that King James was the greatest race trader of all time. Let me repeat. If King James was indeed a black man, that means that King James was the greatest race trader of all time. Of all time. Okay? And this is why. King James was ruling in Egypt in the 1600s. Okay? The early 1600s. And that was during the same time when slavery started in America. So King James was ruling over Great Britain. Now, Great Britain was ruling over America. At that time, the 13 colonies over America were under British rulership. The 13 colonies in America were under British rulership. So that means that King James could have stepped in at any time and told the 13 colonies to stop slavery, to end slavery. He could have overruled all of the politicians over the 13 colonies. He could have overruled them all and put it into slavery. Okay, this man right here, King James. Okay? Okay, this is a fact. Okay? If you are still a Hebrew Israelite after this, you need special education. If you are a Christian or a Hebrew Israelite, as a so-called black man, woman, and child after today, you need to seek mental help. Okay? Because this same guy you're praising, King James, oh, he was great. he was great just because he was a so-called black man. Well, if he was a so-called black man, that means he's the greatest race trader of all time. He ruled over the 13 colonies of America. He ruled over Britain when slavery was going on. He could have intervened and stopped slavery and abolished it, and he did not. He did not. He sat back and he watched it on his throne. Okay? So RFG is saying today, fuck King James. Fuck King James. I'll piss on King James's grave, and I'll piss all over that goddamn Bible. I'll piss all over it. Okay? And use it for my fucking toilet paper. Alright? Okay? Okay? This is where you get the Gnostic texts from. The Gnostic texts come from the Egyptian Book of the Dead and the Egyptian Book of Life. Okay? Right here. You see, this was the mindfuck that was conducted over our people when we were hijacked and we were colonized by the Tamahu. When we were colonized by the Tamahu, we took up the Tamahu religion. We took up the Tamahu's God. You see, this is Tamahu's God right here. You see? A big white guy in the sky. Woo! The Tamahu went to every continent, and they found indigenous so-called black people on every continent. And after they made their trip, they pretended to befriend the indigenous people. Okay? Stole their land, killed them off, raped their women and children, put them in bondage. Okay? Stole their resources, gave them diseases, but after they did this, they made sure to give them that Bible. They made sure to give them that Bible. You see, and you know why? Because that Bible has the story of Jesus, and the story of Jesus says that Jesus was beaten, whipped, crucified, ostracized, and put to death, but he still had to forgive his oppressors. You see. And this is what went on across the whole world. And this is why Christians today, their family members can get gunned down in cold blood like this on camera, and you still say, praise Jesus. You still say, praise Jesus. Praise Zeus. Jesus, which is Zeus, which is Serapis, which is the son of Saturn, the son of Kronos, the son of the Grim Reaper, the son of fucking Father Time. And you still praise that fucking demon. Okay? Okay? RFG is undoing the mindfuck today. Okay? Because the original Hebrews were not so-called black people. They were the fucking Tamahu. Okay? They were the pale-faced Tamahu. They were the original beings who were spliced. They were the original spliced humans. Okay? Which were created without melanin, without neuromelanin, okay? And they were created as a slave race, okay? And they had their own God over them, which was the jealous God, which was the God over the Tamahu, El, Kronos, Father Time, Saturn, Set, Satan, okay? And the Tamahu had calcified pineal glands, okay? So Saturn, Set, Satan, Kronos, El, Yaldabaoth, he is the God over those with calcified pineal glands. Okay? Because you have to have a calcified pineal gland to believe that there's a big white dude in the sky waiting to come back to save humanity. Alright? Cultivate a relationship with God. Serve him to gain favor, and you have inner conflict. Then you can go back to your Kemetic origins. Okay? And what do you worship? The universe, a force, the orgon, the cosmic current. You see what I'm saying? Recognize your own divinity. Recognize your own divinity. Evolve into the best you and find inner peace. That's why it's called enlightenment, because the true light comes from within. Okay, the true light to connect back to the cosmic current that comes from within. You see, this bullshit right here wants you to look on the outside instead of looking inside, and wants you to wait on a big white sky daddy to come back and to save humanity. You have to be a calcified dummy. You have to be a calcified ass clown to believe some shit like that. Okay? And this is why, you see what I'm saying? The melanated people in America keep getting gunned down left and right because you keep serving and you keep worshiping your oppressor's God. You keep worshiping the Caucasoid's God. Stop worshiping the Caucasoid's God. Okay? Stop worshiping the jealous God. Okay? The God that wants you to age and go through the reincarnation process just to be born again and die again, to grow and be born again, and then to die again, and then to grow and be born again, and then to die again, and to stay in the same goddamn reincarnation process over and over again. All right? All right? That is not your God. So-called black woman and child of the Americas. Okay? Okay? Right here. This is the Tamahu. This is the Tamahu 10 Commandments. This is the 10 Commandments of the Tamahu. But what's so funny about this is the God of the Bible doesn't even abide by these laws. The God of the Bible doesn't even abide by these laws. Okay? Talk about thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not bear false witness. That what is this? Is jealousy in here too? Okay? Because the God of the Bible not only expresses a murderous rampage, but he's also a jealous God. You see what I'm saying? So the 10 Commandments was plagiarized by the Tamahu Habiru, and it is nothing but a plagiarization of the 42 laws of Ma'at. You see, in Kemet, when Kemet and Atlantis, you see what I'm saying, and the Egypts in America, when they were at their peak, there was 42 laws of nature. There was 42 laws of nature over this earth. 42 laws of nature over this earth. And this got plagiarized, okay, by the Tamahu, the beings with the calcified pineal glands who serve the jealous God. You see, who wants to harvest your life force and keep you in a cycle of reincarnation and doesn't want you to tap into your godhood. You see, he doesn't want you to tap into your godhood because he wants you to have a calcified pineal gland like the Tamahu. Just like the Tamahu. That's why the Hebrew is the Habiru. The spliced beings, just like the Tamahu. Okay, the beings with the calcified pineal glands. You have to have a calcified pineal gland to be dumb enough to support a God like this. All right? And you know what I'm saying? That's right. We got to get back to our shit. We got to get back to our Hika. We got to get back to our voodoo. We got to get back to our true divinity. Okay? We got to get back to tapping into our Kundalini energy, enacting our Kundalini fire. Okay? And tapping into nature to cause hurricanes, to cause tornadoes, to cause earthquakes, to cause cataclysms, to cause solar flares. Okay? We can do this all through the process of alchemy, Hika, and voodoo. Okay? Because on every continent, we worshipped a serpent-like deity, which was the Kundalini energy inside of us, which tapped into the gods over the macroverse. You see? You see? This serpent represents our Kundalini energy, and it represents the flow of the cosmic current. Let me repeat. The serpent's significance. When our ancestors said a serpent god, they were talking about the energy going down our spine, hitting our pineal gland. Okay, that's called the Kundalini. And when we tap into that, we tap into the cosmic flow of orgone energy. Okay, and when we tap into this, we become immortal. We become gods. You see? You see? We are a greater God than Father Time. We are a greater God than Serapis, aka Zeus, aka Jesus, aka the real Antichrist. We are above them. You see? When we tap into our serpent our serpent powers, our serpent true form, when we tap into that serpent energy, it's over. It's over. Okay? So you tell me who's more civilized. The Egyptians who had 42 laws, or the the rebel traitor Egyptian Hebrews who were really Hebrews, who were spliced into existence, okay, and serve a jealous God that doesn't even follow his own fucking laws. And this deity also ate his own children. Okay, so you tell me who is more civilized. Also, the so-called Israelites, they ate their own fucking babies in the Israeli desert. Go do your research. Okay, go do your fucking research. Okay? Okay? So you want to call, you know what I'm saying? And this is what the Caucasian would say to our ancestors that worship the serpent. Oh my God, that's just savagery. It's savagery. It's savage. It's just savage. It's brutal and it's savage. Well, guess what? When you do the research, the original name for the God over the Hebrew Torah in the Bible is known as El. It's known as El. So when we do our research, the term El is associated with the planet Saturn. With the planet Saturn. Okay? Which is another depiction of Kronos. Another depiction of El, Saturn, Kronos, Father Time, the Grim Reaper, okay, the molester of children, you see, because he ate his own fucking children, you see, right here. This is why in the Bible it says that Father Time sacrificed his own son. This is why in the Bible it says Father Time sacrificed his own son, you see? See? Because he's a fucking parasitic deity. He has to feed off of death, chaos, and warfare and conflict to stay alive. He has to literally feast off of other beings to stay alive. And isn't this a coincidence? Isn't that a fucking coincidence? The same Khazarians, the same fucking Khazarian spliced Hebrews, okay? The race that has been going around causing havoc all over the world. They love to eat meat. You see? They love to eat meat and to be parasitical beings, and most of them can get no real energy from the sun's light. Because just like the fucking God that they're worshiping, you see, they are a fucking parasite. Okay? So the original Hebrews in Kemet, yes, ladies and gentlemen, they were so-called Caucasoids. Not only the Tamahu, but they were called the Habiru. We get the word Hebrew from Habiru. Alright? Alright? Fuck monotheism. Fuck Father Time. Fuck Saturn. Fuck El. Fuck Kronos. Fuck Yaldabaoth. Okay? Okay? Fuck Saturn. He is nothing but a fucking parasite. And he went around splicing beings into existence. He went around doing genetic experiments on beings. He's responsible for humanity having an iron-based blood. All right? And I kid you not, mark my words, mark RFG's words, goddammit. Before I leave this material realm, I'm going to be successful in the process of moving our blood over to a gold, platinum, or carbon base. Okay? Before I leave this material realm. Okay? That is a promise. That is a guarantee. Okay? I'm going to turn this shit upside down completely. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. And then they wonder why there's so much pedophilia going on in the Catholic Church and with the Pope and in other mainstream churches. You see? You know why? Because pedophilia started with the fucking God that you're worshiping in the Bible. Pedophilia started by this deity right here. El, Father Time, Yaldabaoth, Kronos. He eats the children. He eats the children. He hates the children, and he molests the children. You see? See, that's the true demon, the true God of the Bible, the true fucking demon. See right here, the Baphomet. See, paying homage to Saturn, same fucking deity, same fucking deity. So Saturn, these Caucasoids are getting their energy from the moon, from Saturn, and from Venus, and we have to tap into the sun. We have to tap into the sun. We have to tap into that Mars energy. We have to tap, because Mars represents the Moors who went to war. We have to tap into that Mars energy. Okay? That sun energy. That Uranian energy. That Plutonian energy. That's our energy. That's why the fucking liars at NASA said that Pluto isn't a planet. But when you do the research, Pluto represents carbon melanin. Go do the research. It represents the spirit realm. Pluto represents the spirit realm and carbon melanin. Go do the goddamn research. Okay? Pluto isn't a planet, my ass. Pluto has 2 moons orbiting around it. Ha! But they say it's not a planet. You know what I'm saying? Look at this shit. Look at this shit. The God of the Bible has to sacrifice his own son to defeat the so-called serpent. But wait a second. I thought the God of the Bible was more powerful than the serpent. If the God of the Bible was more powerful than the serpent, why the fuck would Father Time have to sacrifice his own son to defeat a deity that he's more powerful than? If Father Time is more powerful than the serpent, why did Father Time have to sacrifice his own son, folks? People, this just shows you the loopholes and the bullshit in this entire theology. It's all bullshit. And this was put on our ancestors so we would always forgive the Caucasoid for what he did to us. Okay? Christianity, he loves Christianity. He loves when so-called black people across the world are Christians. He loves it. See what I'm saying? And this is why I started RFG and Atlantean movement, to put our people on the same wavelength that we were on, okay, when we first started out. When Egypt, when there was an Egypt on every continent, okay, when there's an Egypt on every continent, and we all paid homage and worshipped the serpent, and we worshipped our Kundalini, and we worshipped nature, and we worshipped the universal flow of orgone energy, okay, which was the cosmic current. Okay? Fuck Father Time. Okay, he is a hijacker. He is a fraud. He is a parasite. He is a coward. He is a hypocrite. He is a fucking hypocrite. He doesn't even follow the goddamn 10 commandments that he did give to his followers, which were the Hibiru. Okay, the original Hebrews were the Hibiru, the spliced Caucasoid slave race in Kemet. That's right. There was a slave race in Kemet, and it was not so-called black people. It was the so-called Hibiru. The Hibiru, that's where we get the word Hebrew from. Okay? You want to talk about an empty tomb? I'll show you a real fucking empty tomb. And it's the empty tomb of Osiris. Because Osiris is the true Christ over the melanated beings on the earth. Okay? Over the carbonated beings on the earth. Osiris is the true God. Is the true Christ. That is Osiris. Okay? This bullshit right here was nothing but a plagiarization of the death and resurrection of Osiris. Osiris, okay, is the great serpent. Okay, the great serpent god with green skin. Okay, because his neuromelanin count was so high. And he had a different based blood. Okay, so you see what I'm saying? He was immortal unless somebody stopped his heart from beating. Set put him to death, stopped his heart from beating. Isis resurrected him. Okay? And you can see his real empty tomb. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a real empty tomb that you can go in yourself. Okay? Near the pyramids. Okay? Of Giza. And right there, you have the tomb of Osiris. That's why his name was Osiris. Because when Isis resurrected him, he ascended to the Orion and Sirius star constellations. Okay? Back to a so-called heaven. Alright? They tell you to eat the blood and to eat the flesh and to drink the blood of a so-called Jesus, okay? Because Jesus is Serapis, aka Zeus, aka Jupiter, okay? And his father is the ultimate vampire, aka Father Time. So this is why it is their culture and the Catholic faith to drink the blood and eat the flesh of so-called Jesus in communion. All right? I'm tearing this shit up. I'm tearing this fucking shit up. You know what I'm saying? So-called Hebrew Israelites, you a black man, but you call yourself a Hebrew Israelite, you going against your own goddamn nature. Okay? You motherfuckers have been on the sidewalks since 2011 talking about the white man is the devil. The white man is the devil. But since 2011, what have you been doing with your resources and your money to detach yourself from this beast system? What have you been doing to acquire your own resources to be self-sustained, okay, without the Caucasoid society? What have you been doing since 2011 to help yourself detach from this society? Besides just screaming and arguing and wasting your energy and saying the white man is the devil. What have you been doing? Okay? Actions speak louder than words. Money, okay? Putting your money where your mouth is showing that your actions speak louder than words. Okay? And you fucking Hebrew Israelites, you looking real weak out there because you're worshiping something that is going against your own melanin, going against your own nature, and it's going against your ancestors. Like I said, if you want to be a Hebrew Israelite, you're going against your own ancestors, because before our ancestors were introduced to Father Time and that bullshit Bible, okay, we were worshiping a serpent god. We were worshiping the serpent, which is our Kundalini energy and the cosmic current and nature. Okay? Hika, voodoo, alchemy. Let me repeat. Hika, voodoo, alchemy. Hika, voodoo, alchemy. Everything the Zionist Khazar Jews tried to make look evil, everything they made look evil is really our shit. It's really our shit that is made for us and made to destroy their paradigm. Okay? Okay? Okay, it's over. It's over with. It's over with. It's over with. They went on every continent and did the same thing to the indigenous people. Slaughtered them, enslaved them, stole their resources, raped their women and children, okay, gave them diseases, enslaved them in a capitalist bullshit system, okay, lied to them about their history, made them hate themselves, okay? And every time, okay, one of our indigenous people, our indigenous cousins would get slaughtered, okay, we would have to forgive the oppressor, because it says that in the Bible. It says that, you know, Jesus still had to love, you know what I'm saying, his oppressors. All right? So, you know, Hebrew Israelites, I don't hate you. Like I said, I don't hate my own brothers. I would never do that. Okay? But what I'm going to tell you is the real origin of this word Hebrew, it comes from Habiru, and the Habiru were depicted on Egyptian papyrus and Egyptian hieroglyphics as Caucasians. Okay? And it makes perfect sense, because you have to have a calcified pineal gland to worship this god. You have to have a calcified pineal gland to be dumb enough to worship a goddamn demon like this. Okay? Plain and simple. Plain and simple. So the Hebrew Israelites, you know what I'm saying? It's over. It's done. You know what I'm saying? You have no argument. And as long as our people keep worshiping Father Time and his son Zeus, okay? As long as our people keep worshiping those deities, this shit right here is going to keep happening. All right? We are at war. And we have to do what's going to best benefit us, okay, in our situation, and we're gonna have to do what's gonna best benefit our soul's ascension. Okay, so with all that being said, I appreciate everyone who supports RFG and Atlantean movement. Please like, share, and subscribe. It's the Chosen One Man. I'm out.